Welcome to Copilot Podcasts. You know that quiet electric scooter you saw this morning? It's part of a revolution that's about to hit $408 billion. Today, we're diving into how electric scooters are completely transforming our cities, what's driving their explosive growth, and why they might be the key to solving urban congestion. By the end of this episode, you'll understand exactly how these zippy little vehicles are reshaping the future of transportation.
And it's happening faster than most people realize. The global electric scooter market is projected to reach $408.1 billion by 2031, growing at a staggering rate of 21.6% annually.
Wait, 21.6%? That's massive growth.
Exactly. And when we look at the volume, we're talking about 298.5 million units by 2031. That's not just a trend, it's a complete transformation of urban mobility.
So what's driving this explosive growth?
Well, it's really a perfect storm of factors. We're seeing increasing environmental concerns pushing people toward eco-friendly transportation, rising fuel costs making traditional vehicles less attractive, and significant advances in battery technology making these scooters more practical than ever.
Speaking of practicality, I heard something interesting about how people are actually using these scooters.
Oh, you're probably referring to the recent Swedish study. They found that about 30% of weekday morning trips end in the last 10 to 15 minutes before the hour, basically. People are using them to avoid being late for work or class.
That's fascinating. So they're becoming like a backup plan for commuters?
Exactly. They're especially useful for that last mile problem, getting from public transport to your final destination. But here's where it gets interesting. Cities are having to completely rethink their infrastructure to accommodate this shift.
How so?
Cities are creating dedicated lanes, designated parking areas, and even changing traffic patterns. The goal is to integrate these scooters safely while maintaining pedestrian-friendly spaces.
But it hasn't all been smooth sailing, right? I mean, we're seeing new regulations pop up everywhere.
That's right. As of 2025, most states require riders to keep speeds at or below 20 miles per hour, wear helmets in many cases, and follow specific age and licensing requirements.
You know, it reminds me of that Austin Powers joke about $1 million.
How so?
Well, just like how $1 million doesn't mean what it used to, our whole concept of urban transportation is completely changing. What seemed futuristic a few years ago is now just normal.
That's a great analogy. And speaking of change, the technology keeps advancing. Battery innovations are making these scooters more reliable and efficient than ever.
What kind of innovations are we seeing?
The biggest developments are in lithium-ion battery technology, particularly lithium iron phosphate batteries. They're safer, more cost-effective, and have longer lifespans than older technologies.
And I imagine that's helping with adoption rates?
Absolutely. But it's not just about better batteries. We're seeing AI integration for fleet management, safety features, and even predictive maintenance.
AI in scooters? That sounds pretty high-tech.
It is. The AI helps with everything from real-time monitoring to dynamic pricing and route optimization. It's making shared scooter services more efficient and reliable.
Let's talk about the environmental impact. How significant is it?
The environmental benefits are substantial. Since they're electric, these scooters produce zero direct emissions, which is crucial for improving urban air quality.
But what about the bigger picture? Manufacturing, charging, that sort of thing?
That's a fair point. While there is an environmental impact from manufacturing and charging, it's significantly lower than traditional vehicles. Plus, as our power grid gets greener, the overall impact continues to decrease.
Speaking of traditional vehicles, how are cities handling the transition?
It varies by city, but many are creating comprehensive mobility plans that integrate electric scooters with existing public transport systems.
Can you give us some examples?
Sure. Portland, for instance, now requires all e-scooters to be locked to public bike racks or city signposts to reduce sidewalk clutter. Atlanta has implemented specific curfew hours for e-scooter use.
Interesting how different cities are approaching it differently.
Yes, and that's actually one of the challenges, creating consistent regulations across different jurisdictions.
What about safety concerns? That seems to be a big issue.
It is. Many cities are seeing increased accidents, which is why we're seeing more stringent regulations around speed limits, helmet requirements, and where scooters can be ridden.
Are these regulations helping?
Early data suggests they are, but it's an ongoing process. Cities are learning and adjusting their approaches based on real-world experience.
You mentioned shared scooter services earlier. How big a part of the market is that?
It's significant. Shared services are driving a lot of the growth, especially in urban areas. They're solving that last mile problem we talked about earlier.
And making it more accessible to people who might not want to buy their own scooter.
Exactly. but there's an interesting trend in the data about how people use them.
What's that?
According to recent studies, a significant portion of trips begin near public transport hubs but end elsewhere, showing they're really complementing existing transit systems rather than replacing them.
That's actually really encouraging for cities trying to reduce car dependencies.
Absolutely. And it's having real economic impacts too. Studies show increased foot traffic for local businesses in areas with good scooter accessibility.
Speaking of economic impacts, what about jobs?
The industry is creating new types of jobs, from maintenance and charging to fleet management and app development. It's a whole new ecosystem.
And I imagine that's only going to grow with the market expansion we talked about.
Right. With the market projected to reach $408.1 billion by 2031, we're looking at significant job creation across multiple sectors.
Let's talk about the future. Where do you see this heading?
I think we're going to see even more integration with smart city technology. Imagine scooters that communicate with traffic signals, automatically adjust their speed in crowded areas, and provide real-time data to city planners.
That sounds pretty advanced.
It is, but much of the technology already exists. It's just a matter of implementation and integration.
What about accessibility? Not everyone can ride a scooter.
That's a crucial point. We're seeing development of more inclusive designs, including 3- and 4-wheeled options that provide greater stability and accessibility for different user groups.
So it's not just about speed and convenience.
No, it's about creating a more inclusive and sustainable transportation system that works for everyone.
As we wrap up, what's the biggest challenge you see ahead?
I think it's balancing rapid growth with safety and infrastructure needs. Cities need to adapt quickly while ensuring they're making smart, sustainable decisions.
And the biggest opportunity?
The opportunity to fundamentally reshape our cities, to move away from car-centric design and create more livable, sustainable urban spaces.
So when you step back from everything we've discussed, what's the key takeaway?
Electric scooters aren't just another transportation option. They're catalysts for reimagining our entire urban environment.
And with that massive market growth we discussed, it seems like this transformation is inevitable.
Exactly. The question isn't if our cities will change, but how we manage and shape that change.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode of Copilot Podcasts. Remember, that quiet electric scooter you see tomorrow morning isn't just a trendy gadget. It's part of a $408 billion revolution that's reshaping our cities one ride at a time. Thanks for listening.